This again, Hijikata Okito Saito Todo Harada Katsura roots have ... is the achievement. Time to get reading. Yeah, of course, as soon as I open my mouth, the yawn comes. Okay. Winter 1864. In order to find my father, with whom I lost contact, I, Chizuru Yukimura, visited Kyo. In that city, I bore witness to a horrifying secret hidden within a group called the Shinsengumi, the Fury, a creature with white hair and crimson eyes. Luckily, I was saved from the vicious clutches of the Furies by the members of the Shinsengumi. Because I had discovered the Shinsengumi secrets, it was proposed that I live with the Shinsengumi men, since they were also searching for my father. I was given the position as the commander's page, and thus my life with the Shinsengumi began. I heard rumors, well, whispers really, that the Shinsengumi were little more than a bunch of crooked ronin, but my life with them proved otherwise. Their commitment to protect the safety of Kyo made them the last of a dying breed, true samurai. It set them apart from those who only craved power. Among the men was Harada, who, with his trusted spear, led the Shinsengumi's 10th Division as its captain. He was never without his friends, Nagakura and Heisuke, but I remember him always being keen to look out for my well-being in the all-male household. Experienced the Ikeda-in incident, the Hamaguri rebellion, and the Abura no Koji incident together with Harada strengthened the bond between us. A group of demons named Chikage Kazuma, Kyuju Amagiri, and Kyo Shiranui continually sought to interfere with the Shinsengumi at every opportunity. It was later revealed to me that my ancestry traced back to demon lineage, which made me the target of their ire. Harada, however, kept me safe. At the time, the fate of the shogunate was threatened by the Sacho, which later culminated in an inevitable battle for control of the nation. Making things worse, Senasan, the Shinsengumi's colonel, had made me constantly cornered in his aim to further his research on the Furies. I don't think I've ever read that line before, have I? Huh. As my identity came into crisis with the revelation of my demon heritage, the yarn is back. Harada kept me safe, giving me the strength to find my feet. Unfortunately, the battle ended in favor of the Sacho, and the Shinsengumi were driven from Kyo. They set sail for Edo in hopes of a new start. Alright, are we starting in Kame-in or the headquarters? Let's see. Come in! Alright. Oh, what are these answers that I'm looking at? Okay. Coming in hot! Harada's route started. That's the achievement. Following their defeat at the Battle of Toba Fushimi, the Shinsengumi set sail for Edo. On January 12th, we reached the port of Shinagawa, later making a residence at the Kame-in, which had usually been reserved for Hamamotos. Is it Hamamotos or Hatamotos? Or is it two completely different things? I shall look that up later. Also, now I know that January 12th is the day that they reach port. Alright. This is the only confirmation, I think, of that. At the time, the Shinsengumi was formidable in size. Thus, the inn was filled with hundreds of hungry, depleted warriors, all of whom were still mentally recovering from the events of Toba Fushimi.
掃除のやつ、大丈夫なのか？大坂城で会った時は死人みてえな顔してたが。松本先生に見てもらってるんだろう。きっとなんとかなるさ。な、千鶴。
Harada snuck a glance at me, urging me to agree with him, so I instinctively nodded my head, but judging from Matsumoto-sensei's reports, Okita hadn't been improving, which was worrisome to say the least. Blech. Would he really be able to survive this? A battle of tuberculosis where the vaccine hasn't been invented yet?
So yeah, 今日出る前、あの知らぬいとかいう鬼が伏見奉行所に来たって本当か？今度は佐野の槍をもっとしても手も足も出なかったらしいじゃないか。
As I was unpacking our belongings, I couldn't help but stop myself as Nagakura recounted some of what had happened back in Kyo.
その話を誰から聞きやがった？
Harada doesn't like that.
おっと、そんな怖い顔で睨むなって、ただの冗談だよ、冗談。相手は化け物なんだし、人間の俺たちにはかないっこねえしな。油断してただけだよ。次はあの時みてえにはいかねえさ。
Harada had normally been in on a joke with Nagakura, eager to exchange banter in good faith, and would have let any other joke slide. But judging by his reaction, it seemed that the bitter memory of his duel with Shiranui lingered in Harada's mind.
にしても、これからどうなっちまうんだろうな。総大将様にはまるっきりやる気がねえみてえだし、このまま戦が終わっちまうんじゃねえだろうな。そうならねえよ。土方さんが毎日出かけて幕府のお偉さん方と話をしてるんだろうな。
Almost immediately after our ships landed in the port, Hijikata-san was shuffling to and from Edo Castle whenever the opportunity arose. Instinct told me that he intended to reorganize the Shinsengumi and garner support in favor of retaliating against the Sacho in the near future. His tireless effort meant that I rarely caught sight of him since we've returned, and in the meantime, everyone else was attempting to settle in. Therefore, I usually kept company with Harada and Nagakura, who were two of the only leadership figures who regularly stayed within the compounds. ここで腐ってても始まらねえし、せっかく江戸に戻ってきたんだ。パーッと飲みに行ってくるか。
江戸に戻ってこようと来るまいと、てめえはいつでも飲みまくってるじゃねえか。まあいいや、付き合うぜ。せっかくだから新入りの大使連中も連れて行ってやるか。おう、そうだな。
You're heading into town?
ああ、見ての通りだ。ってことで、留守番頼んだぜ。
Oh God.
どうした？
Well, if you guys wouldn't mind, would it be okay if I joined you?
お前がか？いや、お前はやめといた方がいいぜ。聞き苦しい話も出るだろうしな。
Harada had a point. Drinking sessions between men of their positions were often rowdy and boisterous, and I'm sure Nagakura had some venting to do. Perhaps my presence would have only hindered them from truly cutting loose. Okay, well, sorry if it was out of line for me to ask to join you.
いや、こっちこそ悪いな。 せっかく江戸に戻ってきたんだし、そのうちどこか面白そうなところに連れて行ってやるよ。
He's being a gentleman. I look forward to it. Well, I'll see the two of you later on then.
おう、それじゃな。
Harada winked at me playfully, and together he and Nagakura rounded up the new soldiers and took them out to experience Edo's nightlife. To occupy myself, I continued unpacking my things and furnishing the room I had been staying in. I lost track of time. Before I knew it, the sun had set. The sky was dark and covered in thin, wispy clouds. Harada and the rest of the men, I thought to myself, should be returning any minute now. No sooner than the thought entered my head, the sliding door creaked behind me, startling me so badly that I jumped as I flinched. I turned to look over my shoulder nervously to see. I knew it! Sana-san standing behind me in dead silence. So that one line wasn't just a cop-out. Alright, let's go. His behavior was strange, but I opted not to make a mention of it. Oh, Sana-san, did you need to speak with Harada? He left a few hours ago. I think he went into town with some of the other men.
構いませんよ。君と話をしに来たのですから。
Me?
はい。君は覚えていますか？鬼である君の血は落ち水の欠点を克服する手がかりを与えてくれるかもしれないと言ったことを。
Of course, I remember, but...
では、話が早いです。我々の研究に協力していただけますね。
God, yeah, now I see the appeal why people wanted Sun and Sun's route to be just mad scientist mode. I understand now. I couldn't bring myself to nod in response to Sana-san's question, instead turning my gaze towards the floor. Do you really think that my blood will do anything to help your research?
それは私にもわかりません。試したことがありませんからね。
Then I can't. The best case scenario is what? We could cure the terrible effects of the water of life, but if the worst case scenario happens, then it could only exacerbate the subject's condition, right?
ですが、君が協力してくれなければ、我々は血に狂って正気をなくす日をただ待つだけです。
Sun has been one for like 4 years.
雪村君、例の薬は君のお父上がこの新選組に持ち込んだものですよ。
He's trying to play the guilt card. Great.
娘の君も無関係というわけではない。それは分かっていますね。
Of course. Of course, I feel so guilty about what my father has put you through. But blindly participating in research of this nature with no precedent or basis for what could happen is what created this problem in the first place. I felt as though the experiments conducted upon the members of the Fury Corps were simply toying with their lives. Sun made me nervous, inching closer to me when...
Yukimura!
That voice.
どこで誰が聞いているかわからん。不用意に例の薬のことを話すな。
Saito, thank you, my hero. Saito-san. As he entered the room, Saito-san's eyes wandered to look at San-san with an inspective glance.
こんなところで薬のことを口にするなど三男さんらしくもない。
皆が出払っているのを承知していたからこそですよ。それでは私は部屋に戻らせてもらいます。雪村君、先ほど私が言ったことについてよく考えておいてください。
With that, Sanan-san bowed his head curtly. Without another word, he spun around and exited the room.
例の薬について話していたようだが、何か言われたのか？
Sato-san shot me an inquisitive look, staring at me sternly, but it was nothing. I have some chores to attend to, so I'll be on my way. I skipped away from the hall, hastily getting out of sight to let myself catch my breath. The next morning...
まだ頭がガンガンしやがる。ゆうべはちょっと飲みすぎたかな。
A first instance of being hungover ever. Why did it take this long? Oh. Ohayo, Harada. Do you have a minute? I wanted to talk to you about something.
なんだ?
As you suffer from your drunken headache. You see, just as I opened my mouth to recount to him what had happened the night before.
原田組長、少しいいでしょうか。
One of the younger warriors skittishly approached Harada with an expression of worry covering his face. Oh no.
どうした？
ここではちょっと外に出ても構いませんか？
わかった。ちょっと待っててくれ。ってことで千鶴、俺あいつと話をしてくるからよ。お前の方は急ぎじゃねえよな。戻ってきてからでいいか。なんだ？差し迫った話なのか。ならお前の方を先に聞くけどよ。
No, I'm fine. It looks like he got something bigger to deal with, so please make sure he's okay.
そうか。そじゃまた後でな。
Harada flashed a quick grin, then led the young warrior with him outside of the hall. I hoped that we could discuss the unsettling request that Saran-san gave me last night, but given how frazzled the warrior looked walking up to Harada, I couldn't blame Harada for leaving. I suppose I could just wait to tell him whenever he's next available. After some time had passed... Oh, Harada, were you able to finish speaking with him?
それなんだよ。あいつ、体を抜けようか悩んでるなんて言い出しやがったな。
What?
土方さんがいねえ状況じゃどうしようもねえし、脱走は切腹だしな。一緒に飯でも食ってもう少し詳しい事情を聞いてやろうと思ってな。
Huh. I see.
まあ、鳥羽伏見でボロ負けした後だし、あいつらの気持ちもわからなくはねえんだが。お前の方は急ぎじゃねえんだよな。じゃあ戻ってきてからでいいか。
I grew suddenly anxious, thinking about the possibility of Sanan-san approaching me while Harada is out. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about it. It can wait.
そうか。そんじゃあまた帰ってきた後にでもな。
With that said, Harada left the hall. It really shouldn't have surprised me. Harada was undergoing a lot of stress on his own since neither Kondo-san nor Hijikata-san were around to advise him. Perhaps it was better for me to give him some space while he tended to the administrative business for the Shinsengumi, but still, I was at a loss for what to do. Remaining here left me vulnerable to Sun and Sun's sneaky advance, but if I were to leave the compound without any prior approval, then it could land me in deeper trouble than I would have wanted.